Welcome back. New season, season 4, episode 24, Shed2Ed, a new era. It's week 9 of the NFL season, Steve.
Yeah, we're back with season 4. Season 3 just ended. Feels like we were never gone at all. But we still hanging around. We got some new plays for you. We got another draft battle coming in. Skipping the fights this week. The card looks like a mess. Bunch of weight misses. So we're just focusing on NFL this week. So
last week you stole the season. $30 win. Congratulations, Steve.
Yeah, it was a big draft win for me. You did pretty poorly there in the draft. I swept it away. So after you were up quite a bit of the season there, I swoop in at the end with a couple of big weeks in the last couple of weeks. So send over that money, e-transfer as usual.
You got it.
And we got a full season of Shed2Ed coming.
A lot of interesting matchups right at the top of the board. We got Kansas City and the Bills.
So right off the bat, we have Chiefs and Bills at the gimme games there. You can't go wrong with either of those guys.
I took the Chiefs as first pick overall. You grabbed the Bills for your first pick of the week. Second picks of the week, let's grab Paul's Patriots, and you grab the Dolphins.
Yeah, I kind of like the Patriots, and they're looking better as the week went on there as well. The Colts are missing a couple of key players. They're not going to start Matt Ryan for the rest of the year, and Jonathan Taylor was just ruled out, so they just traded away Nyheim Hines. They only have Deion Jackson at running back with Zach Moss. They're going to put up a pretty poor performance there with the Colts. I was kind of sketchy on it earlier the week, but now it looks like that's a pretty solid pick that you've got in your hands there with the Patriots. And I lean towards Miami with this one. I like Miami a lot over the Bears. Miami is doing very good this year so far. And Miami, they just loaded up on a couple of players at the trade deadline. So they got Bradley Chubb and they got Jeff Wilson there coming over. And Chicago traded away their best defensive player, Roquan Smith, to the Ravens. So this one's looking even better after we drafted there as well. Miami's going to win pretty easily, I think, in this match.
Round 3 sees me grabbing the Vikings and you taking the Bengals. I'm really interested in that Vikings matchup. We can touch on that later.
Yeah, you stole the pick from me. I was going to grab the Vikings if you didn't take it. I popped up and took the Bengals. Not super comfortable with the Bengals, especially after their embarrassing showing last week against the Browns. But I guess I'll take them over Carolina. They're pretty bad. And Cincinnati's at home this time, so I think they'll right their wrongs and get the win on this one. But Minnesota over Washington. Washington's still starting Taylor Heineke, and Minnesota's been pretty hot lately. I think they're going to get Dalvin Cook going, and they just traded for TJ Hawkinson there as well. So they're filling in all the holes that they had on offense, and I think they're going to be able to show out this week and further on when TJ, learns the playbook.
Historically, Vikings are also 7-5 against Washington. That's the best win rate in the NFC against Washington. So I'm leaning with history on that one. Take the stats on that matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to repeat itself here this week.
Also, Washington 3-0 off of 52 points across those 3 games. Come on, their offense is not really getting it done for them.
No, and it's only gotten worse after Carson Wentz went out. I mean, he looked good, and then he stopped looking good, and then he got hurt. But Taylor Heineke is nothing special there either. So I think Minnesota has no problems with this matchup. Washington defense has been really lackluster this year. Their front 7 was supposed to be good, but I think even Kirk Cousins is going to tear up their secondary.
Next up, I grabbed the Chargers. Chargers are a bit of a chaotic team. Let's ride. And you grabbed the Green Bay Packers, who are on a dirty skid streak against the Lions, who are on a dirtier skid streak.
Yeah, that's right. You can never trust the Lions to win a game, even at home. The Packers historically own the Lions there. So I'm looking for an Aaron Rodgers bounce back game there. Get off that 4-game losing streak. Just beat up on the poverty Lions there. And your Chargers pick, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that, to be honest. Atlanta has been kind of surprising lately. They're actually 4-4 and top of their own division. The poor old Atlanta Falcons there. The Chargers, they just ruled out their top 2 wide receivers there as well. So Mike Williams is out and Keenan Allen is out as well. Josh Palmer, he's questionable there. Not sure if he's going to play. Their tight ends are always up in the air with Parham and McKitty. Maybe playing, maybe not playing. So I think there's too much influx there for the Chargers on the road
A lot of NFL teams are birds. A lot of teams are cats. I grabbed the Seahawks for the birds, and then you grabbed the Jaguars for the cats.
Well, that I did. I mean, I was kind of leaning towards the Seahawks there as well. Don't really like anything on the favorite side of the board here anymore. But yeah, you sniped out that bird. I kind of like Seattle there this week as well. Typically, they've been pretty decent against the Cardinals. They've been doing okay this year. The Cardinals have been looking a little bit better since DeAndre Hopkins got back from suspension there, but they did lose James Conner, and their offense is still in flux a little bit.
Cardinals are 3-5, not bad per se, but they've been trailing over 90% of their 8 games. It's tough to watch, man. They're always playing from behind.
Yeah, and you know what? One of their wins against Las Vegas, that was one of the flukiest wins that I've ever seen in my life. You know, they should realistically be 2-6, something like that. And now that Call of Duty is out, Kyler Murray's probably going to be paying less attention to the NFL season. Arizona, typically, if you look at Cliff Kingsbury's seasons, the last few seasons, they start off hot and then they dip down dramatically in the end of the season. So if they already started low, they're probably not going to get much better.
These are very late picks. So you're looking at the Cardinals at -2 is the spread on that pick. It's a home game for them. We're not looking at a lot of momentum for the Cardinals. Like I said, they're playing from behind a lot.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars and Raiders game, that was one that I thought the books had a little bit off there. I was surprised to see the Jaguars as the underdog in this matchup. Las Vegas Raiders, typically, they don't do well outside of their own time zone. So now they're on the East Coast in Florida, and they're not really playing that well. They took a beat down last week, so typically teams bounce back. And the Jaguars are not a particularly strong team, but they are at home. They are starting to turn it up a little bit. Trevor Lawrence is getting more and more comfortable with the offense. They traded away James Robinson, but that only means that they have so much confidence in Travis Etienne to get the groundwork done. And they're mixing in all of their guys, and I think the Jacksonville is going to squeak this one out.
Final pick of the night goes to me, and I grabbed the other LA team. I figure it would be easier, more convenient to just cheer for both LA teams, so that's what I've gone and done this week.
Yeah, thank you so much for choosing that game for me. I have no idea what's going to happen in that one at all. I'm very uncomfortable looking at that one, betting at that one at all. Both teams are supposed to be good and have been doing very poorly this year so far. And, you know, the over-under set at 43. Both teams can show up defensively and not offensively very easily. And then on the other side of the coin, you can see a 48-40 game coming out of this somehow if the Rams' high-powered offense and Tom Brady really shows up here.
Just like that, there's your Sunday draft battle for the NFL Week 9. Monday, Ravens versus Saints. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. It's my team versus your team.
Yeah, this is a real Shed2Ed matchup here. So we're going to auto draft these ones. So I'll take the Ravens that are away, and you can take the home Saints that have been kind of struggling a little bit there. Alvin Kamara turned it up last week, and Ravens are still dealing with some issues. Rashad Bateman, our up-and-coming wide receiver, is out for the year now. Not sure what Mark Andrews is looking like this week. So Ravens are only a 2-point favorite in this matchup, so it should be a fairly tight one. I like the Ravens, of course, to actually cover the spread and get the win on the road there. Lamar Jackson's just, Lamar Jackson over Andy Dalton. I think I know which side I'm going to play there. Both defenses seem the same.
6 times now this season, they've won a game by 5 points or less, or lost a game by 5 points or less. So I don't really feel comfortable in any of the spread when it comes to playing the Ravens this year.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. Ravens have found ways to completely blow games when they've been up a lot. So maybe we'll see the same thing again this Monday, but I expect them to kind of right the wrongs and kind of get this by the wayside and really start to solidify and finish their games. I think they take care of this one, probably a double-digit win, to be honest.
You got a huge slate. You got 18 units on the line this week. We got everything from a deep favorites Bills-Chiefs parlay to a super spicy Packers-Vikings parlay, I see.
Yeah, that's right. So doing pretty decent so far in the year on NFL. Lost 5 units last week, but they were just the 5 units that I won in week 7. So we'll keep it rolling. 14-unit profit so far in NFL 2022. We'll start off at the top. I like the Bills and the Chiefs to win. Last week, I had a super teaser. It was a couple of really big favorites to win by 3.5. I couldn't get decent odds, so I just decided to take the Bills and Chiefs. Super confident in these teams, confident enough to lay 2.5, 3 units on the parlay here. DeAndre Hopkins has been a monster since he's gotten back. I think he's had 10 catches in both of his games so far. The sports books are still putting him at 6.5 because, who can keep up that kind of production? But DeAndre is fresh and he's hungry partway through the season when some of the guys are already, exhausted a little bit. So I think the odds are reflective of how likely it's going to be. And I think he's going to be cashing that ticket pretty easily. We got a couple of anytime touchdowns for Sunday night in the primetime game, Chiefs versus Titans. We got Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown. I mean, he is that offense. Juju's been letting loose a little bit lately, but Travis Kelce is going to be getting that ball and getting the ball in the red zone. And Derrick Henry, he went off last week, and I found the odds there, plus money to get Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. I'll take that anytime. They're going to run the offense through Derrick Henry. Malik Willis is probably going to be starting again this week, or Tannehill's probably just going to be banged up, and they're just going to avoid him. They're going to give Derrick Henry that ball so many times the weekend. The only thing, I didn't want to take his yards because the Chiefs are probably going to be stacking the box against them, daring whoever's at quarterback to throw. So I am leaning towards Derrick Henry over carries. I don't have the line yet because the books just haven't released it by the time of recording, but I'm going to lean towards that way, see if I can get some good value on whatever the books put out there. I'm also leaning towards Patrick Mahomes over 280.5 yards. The Titans' passing defense is abysmal. They looked decent last week because they played the Texans. They're pretty bad. So I think we're getting Pat Mahomes at some decent yardage or decent totals here right now. So I'll lay some money on Pat Mahomes to sling that ball. We got a couple of plays on the Vikings. So I like the Vikings over 23.5 points against the garbage Washington defense. And I like them to win there as well. I didn't like the odds. I found them at 1.6 or so. Wasn't feeling that much money on them. So I parlayed them with the Packers, who are just playing lowly old Detroit Lions, who find a way to lose every week. They went up big on Miami last week, and they managed to blow it. Miami still covered the spread. So we'll go with Vikings over points and Vikings to win, parlayed with the Packers. I'm liking Raheem Mostert over 65.5 rushing yards this week. They're playing against the Bears, who are the second worst rushing defense in the league. The Dolphins just made a couple of changes at running back. They acquired Jeff Wilson and traded another running back away there. So I think Raheem Mostert is going to be getting that ball and getting that ball a lot. If Jeff Wilson steals some red zone carries, that doesn't matter at all for our yard totals. No big deal. We'll take Raheem Mostert over 65.5 rushing. Miami's going to cover the spread again. They're playing against Washington, and they're very bad. So they did this. They covered 3.5 against Detroit last week. I think they'll do it again against Washington. They really got to kind of figure that out and not go down big early like they did last week. But I think they're just going to be handing off the ball, setting up the play action, going deep to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I don't think they're going to have much of an issue shredding Washington this week. Chiefs and Titans, I think that one's going to be a blowout with Pat Mahomes against the terrible Titans passing defense, and Derrick Henry is going to be able to get his own points on the other side of the ball. Over 46, I think that one's decent there.
I like that play. I feel like after watching the Bucs, the Packers, the Chiefs play, I've been the most impressed with the Chiefs offense. And oh my God, I've seen the Titans put a couple of points together, but their defense just is not there for them. A lot of people are running up a big score against the Titans time and time again.
Yeah, exactly. And the Chiefs defense isn't really that well either. So the Chiefs are a perfect team to be set up for these overs. And over 46 is kind of the low end that you'll really see that team in a game set to. And I think the Titans are going to do their own. If they get 14 points, I think the Chiefs will probably get 30 odds. So that's no problem there. I like Tyler Lockett over 5.5 catches. You see him go off every now and then. So he'll either go off for 7 or 8, or he'll have 2 or 3. So we'll see which kind of game this one is. I found some decent odds there at 2.25. So we'll play the plus money of Tyler Lockett catching 6 or more balls. Here's a special one I got here for the Patriots and Colts. I got an alternative under on this one, 37 points for the total, and I got it at plus money here 227. So the Patriots and the Colts, I think the Pats are going to win this game, but the spread is set to about 6 points there right now. The Colts are using the backup quarterback who's not really showing much promise yet, and they just traded away what would have been their main running back because Jonathan Taylor is ruled out for this week, and I think the Colts are really going to struggle, and the Patriots haven't really been explosive on offense. They're going to be giving the running backs the ball a lot, and I think we're going to see this clock churn out at a pretty low-scoring game. So I'm going to take the alternate under at 37 here. And for the final play, we got the Josh Jacobs special. So he's going up against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are not the best defense on the ground. They didn't get them rolling last week, and you see these guys with bounce backs. They only gave Josh Jacobs, who's been phenomenal this year, only 10 carries last week, and I think they're going to get him rolling early and against the Jaguars, and they're going to be giving him the ball to try and score some points because he is a surefire thing in the red zone. So I think over 77.5 and a touchdown is the right play for Josh Jacobs. We're going to take him at the 325 special amount here. How's that for you?
I'm looking forward to making some money. Your picks have a nice spread. You're not leaning too hard. I've tried to do some spicy picks in the past, but you don't make your money on huge wagers and gambling. You need a wide spread, and you get a nice little win or a little bit of a beat. You don't take a massive beating trying to lean too hard in one direction with your picks.
Yeah, that's right. It's pretty easy to get burned by just upping your units when you're either on a hot streak or confident in one play, but plays can fall apart in a second. You never know what's really going to happen. So I like to spread them out, get a lot of different plays in there, try and find some value between everything, try and find some decent odds here, and try and guess what's going to happen. If you lead towards the plus 600 plays all the time, that has the implied probability of, 15% hitting. So they're not reliable to really bet on. So I like to take the more even plays here, and we'll win all of our coin flips. By the time this episode airs, I'm probably going to be in the middle of a video game marathon in support of Extra Life and the Children's Miracle Hospital Foundation, more specifically, the Janeway in St. John's, Newfoundland here. So I'm going to leave a link in the description if you wanted to go donate to local sick kids and really help out the fundraiser there for our team and those children.
Who's the number one donor to your campaign right now?
So the number one donor is Shed2Ed right now. So we're going to do a special shout out there for Shed2Ed in some of our video games there on Saturday. And anybody else who donates, we'll give you a shout out there as well. So looking forward to watching the games on Sunday. Looking forward to raising some money on Saturday. And looking forward to interacting with all y'all. Tell us how you like our picks. Have a look at the fundraiser there. Let us know what you're thinking.
Sounds good. See you tomorrow on the stream. See y'all on Sunday for the games. Let's go.
Let's go.